So much to talk about. Like, this, woo, we're talking about financial independence, but financial independence to me is different because than the norm. It is different to me than it is to the normal, average, very successful Black person. Let's put it like that. When I think about financial independence, I think about complete mental independence. Not just your money, but you holistically as a person. And I think often we accept financial independence as only something that's needed for money. Like AfroEconomics has 10 principles. It's about you holistically, spiritually, physically, you know, all of you and your financial habits. So financial independence, AfroEconomics financial independence is about first, in my opinion, freeing our mind and graduating ourselves to a level that it's okay to be free. It is okay, right? It is okay, to have these goals for yourself. It is okay for you to expect more. That it is okay for you to be a little bit different, a lot different, a lot different. And that is okay. Like to be truly Black and financially independent, you have to have a mindset about wealth that is not the norm that you will see, on TV of constantly accumulating debt. So when, does anybody want to share before I get started on some, deep thoughts about what, do you understand or can you at least appreciate what I'm saying about financial independence has to be seen as a mental mindset as well as what you have on your balance sheet, what assets we have under management?
Absolutely. And financial independence takes discipline. It takes discipline and it takes commitment.
That's right. I mean, if you don't have the discipline, commitment, and a strong mental mindset, obviously are needed because you'll see someone who has a fraction of the wealth of another person, but they're both financially independent because they both decided that they have enough assets in order for them to live off of completely. But one is completely miserable because they're still not happy. They have enough assets to live off completely, but they constantly continue to buy more and more things. So they have to constantly continue to work and they become miserable. And in many cases, suicidal, if not directly suicidal, indirectly slow motion death of themselves through bad habits that they've created in response to their lack of understanding of what financial independence truly can be for them. That they have to add that mental component or they will continue to be miserable and they will kill themselves. Like you can be alive and still be dead. Mm-hmm. You can have a lot of money and still be dead. That doesn't, just because you're breathing doesn't mean that you're alive and making your greatest contribution to society, which is, I believe true financial independence is being free mentally so that you can contribute more to society while you are also taking care of yourself and your responsibilities.
Amen.
And that doesn't mean that you don't have, some people say, well, this is all I have, so I can't really help anybody else. That's not financially independent. And you can be still working and be financially independent. So don't sleep on that. Like you can have a well-groomed operating business that feeds you, and that is your asset that you built. That's financially independent. Whatever. So if you have a mechanic shop and all you have to do is open your doors because you've been on that corner so long, people are going to come there to get you to fix their car. All you got to do is get there. Is that not financial independence?
Yeah.
If it's making enough for you to live off of, so you definitely, of course, they still have that challenge of making sure that they keep their debt eliminated. I'm not even going to say under control, because debt has become an American unnecessary way of life. We have accepted that you can't be debt free and be in America, but yet you have millions of Americans who are debt free. Debt freedom is and can be accomplished. That doesn't mean you have to have all your debts paid off, but you must have enough assets that will pay off the debts if you had to, just like that. You could be leveraging, meaning using somebody else's money, but you still have to have the assets there as well. You have to have, you have to have the assets that can take care of that responsibility. And so I see you, Latrice. I'll call you Latrice. Your last name's Davis too, so I can't call both y'all Miss Davis. Y'all won't know who I'm talking to. So I see you struggling to tell you. Yes, indeed. So let's start. Like I have two presentations. I'm gonna give you my epiphany of what came to me after I took a nap, and then I'm gonna also give you what I wrote down in notes when I was just of sound mind. So the first part I'm gonna give you is what I was like, not of sound mind. It just came to me, and I was like, I really have to share this, and I just gotta share it. So hopefully that's the good part. This is AfroEconomics Live, and I'm JB Bryan, and it's Wednesday night. Yes, it is. And we're talking about financial independence. So financial independence, I think we should first start with what financial independence is to you and your family. That's the first, question I want you to think about. Like, what is financial independence to me? Now, financial independence that I believe you should thrive for is a situation where Mr. Jones' microphone is not like in the middle of your sentence. No, but to you first, you want financial independence is when your assets are actually, paying for your lifestyle. So you have to decide what your lifestyle is. Do you have assets that can provide for your lifestyle? And how are you going to use them now, or do you need to accumulate them over time? And even taxation. So, but determining financial independence is vital, and that's a big part of what we do at AfroEconomics. And everybody's definition of financial independence is different. You don't have to think, well, financial independence is $3 million to you. If it's not, it might be $10 million that you actually need based on the lifestyle that you have established that you'll need. So we need to look at that. You need to think about that. And then a second point is, and this comes deep from within me. I want you to think about, are you willing to be uncomfortable for now in order to create a greater comfort, the greatest comfort you ever felt later in your life? So are you willing to be uncomfortable so that you can be comfortable later? Or sometimes, are you willing to be uncomfortable your whole life so that the generations after you will have something better than you do? Because that's really where we are when we talk about generational wealth. It's nice, and you can Google that and search it on YouTube. You see 1,000 videos talking about generational wealth, but it really comes down to, are you willing to go without so that someone else will benefit from you having lived? Because too many of us are living and dying, and nobody is actually benefiting from any seeds that you planted, because you're not planting any seeds. And when you die and as you live, you're chopping down the entire tree. And when you chop down the tree, you're not even leaving any seeds behind. So there's no evidence that you ever walked the planet. And to me, a big part of financial independence is being uncomfortable so that someone else can be comfortable. And I realize that because a big part of my work, when I'm working with us in finances, is that I have to look out for us, even when we're not comfortable being looked out for. I can't tell you how many times in my career I have stuck my neck out, used my name to protect us. And in response, I am told, I'm not comfortable. You don't have to do that. I don't like conflict. Even when there's money on the line, even when there's money that has been taken from us, and I go out to get it for you, I have been told that. But I must admit that by the grace of God, I have become comfortable with being uncomfortable. I gotta look out for you. But I'm not gonna be here always, so I need you to adapt that behavior, that in order to get what you've got to get, what you have earned, what you have worked for, what you have built out of this life, you have got to get uncomfortable and go out there and make a difference. Over the weekend, a young member told me that she was going to stay at her low-paying job, which was below a living wage, but with a college degree, that she was going to stay there another 3 years because she was going to get the experience that she felt that she needed, even though she was in her mid-30s and had worked several jobs. And I explained to her, Bridget, that, this is your moment. This is your moment. God put you on this planet to meet me, JB Bryan, so that I can tell you what I wish that people had told me all my life, that you can do better and you can do it right now. We can do it right now. We don't need to wait for the raise. We don't need to wait for them to get, we got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You got to go in there and tell them, you got to stop robbing me. You got to get in there and you got to tell them, look, we got to learn how. There are things that we allow people to do that you would not allow anybody that looks like you to do it to you. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. So don't get confused. Here we are in year 2021, that it is okay for us to settle in any capacity. We got to know our worth. And if they want you and they want you to learn how to do this, then you have to tell them what you want in order to do it. And meanwhile, if you know that they will not pay you what you deserve, you will never be financially independent, accepting less than what you deserve. Then you have to get your resume updated and get out there and get another job. It's different when you get to very high level positions and it's going to get very competitive and you can get there. But when you're talking about trying to get to $20, $25 an hour, there is no reason. Like Bank America said today, that they have decided that nobody that works for them will make less than $25 an hour in the next couple of years. So that means that they have been extremely underpaying a lot of people for a long time. Mm-hmm. And we are allowing it to happen. We have to get comfortable being uncomfortable if standing up for yourself is uncomfortable. And if you're uncomfortable with someone standing up for yourself, for you, for the best of you, then you should not be with me. Because I am never going to encourage you to be any less than what you are, and I'm never in front of me, not on my watch, allow anybody to mess over you in any capacity. Know that. Never. Not gonna happen. God did not put me here to allow you to be messed over. So if there's any type of misconception that you think that it holds you back in some way by being honest and truth and living in integrity and telling the truth when someone's wrong, look at my life. I'm fine. It has done me no damage to put God first and live right. Because that's what it is when you tell the truth. Now, if the person gets upset about it, that's their loss. But the truth is the truth. It will be revealed. We had a member the other week, and she was explaining one of her coworkers had said that they couldn't do this work they needed to do because they didn't get the email they needed from her. So she said, well, what email did you need? And she said, well, they told her what email they need. And she forwarded to them and said, that one? I said, that on such and such a day. We legit, that wasn't confrontational to tell her the truth. That was the truth. Was she supposed to appease them and make them feel better about themselves, or say it to Sissy on the side, so she won't be embarrassed in front of the manager? Well, obviously was trying to embarrass you in front of the manager. The truth is the truth. As long as we're operating from a place of truth, financial independence will follow you every day of your life. Once you start settling, lying, accepting less than what God wants for you, it's over. It's going to be conflict, unrest. If you want peace, that means you got to keep him first. He's got it. And there's nothing that says that means that you got to let stuff go. That is not godly to let lies go. So, and the third point, so that was my second point, is being willing to be uncomfortable. And then a third point is most people have accepted less and debt and unhappiness and discontent and as a way of life. And it will hurt you. Now we're talking about financial independence, but this is about keeping it real. But this little stimulus package society that we've been living in, is just to make you weak. Do you feel me?
Talk about it.
Yes, it's just to make you weak. So that's why God didn't put me in no PPP and no EBD and DBD, nothing. I worked harder than ever in my life over this stimulus period. I worked so hard, I hurt my legs multiple times from standing here at this desk, doing my job 12, 14, 16, 18 hours a day. No. But what it has done is make me stronger and get a better understanding of how everything works. But allowing a system to make you and build you and create you into this dependent mindset of you won't give me access to my retirement without a penalty, so then I'm gonna set myself back. So I'm gonna have to be retired 10, 20 years later because they told me I could spend my money now. No, we don't have to do everything that is allowed to us to do. Just because we can doesn't mean we have to. I could have done all those. I could have pursued everything. I could be pursuing loans like I pursue clients every day. There are so many things going around now. Any business, they can just stay in business just by getting loans. So you just spend your whole day proving your business, proving this, proving your need, proving this. But that ain't what you were put here for. Some stuff is supposed to go, some things supposed to end, some things supposed to start. That's just how it works. But we cannot allow ourselves to get in a place just like with Social Security. That Social Security is a major source of income for our people. Major source of income for the majority of Black retirees. And a Black woman is highly likely to grow old and be poor. even though she is one of the most highly educated people on the planet. Isn't that something? So it hasn't stopped that. So we need to realize that developing a dependency on a government check is not a realistic way of developing your financial freedom.
Yes.
Weta? Yeah, Weta, it's scary. We should be. You know, we should be. But instead we're not afraid. We think, oh, this is it. You know, we're doing this, black woman that, black woman this. But let's look at all the numbers. Like when I was looking at in December, you know, most of these jobs that were cut out were jobs. The majority of the jobs were jobs that were dominated by women, black women. They're not coming back. So, you know, we need to think about, you know, where are we positioned? I mean, I'm talking about every week almost, black women in good jobs telling me that their job got cut out and they've been working from home for the last year and a half.
JB, I heard a report on the news last week that over 3 million women lost their jobs, and they want to retire. Yeah,
it's real. But everybody's getting excited because one woman became vice president. Massive things are happening to, you know, us. We have to think about this. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? You know, what does that mean? There's someone that we're missing. You know, maybe it's only those of us who feel like we're doing great and doing fine that check in and get on, you know, the Zoom and things like that. But we need to encourage, you know, the brothers and sisters who are not doing so well, that AfroEconomics is a place for them to build, not just to have, where we're building right here, that we're building. We're in the process too. And if we're not in the process, then you're in the process of trying to keep what you got. And then our fourth point is that we have to learn to say no. You know, there's too many of us don't know how to say no. Now, you know, we've been living in this yes, kind of, you know, trying to keep everybody appeased. The government's been just sending out everything, and you know, so, and you know, you see, like, you know, this, everybody's seeking, you know, as soon as it really feels like around June and July, it's going to go crazy. Just, you know, all of the, you know, spending and spending and spending and spending and spending. Position yourself to benefit from the spending, not just the spender. Don't be the spender. Be the one making money. You know, don't like, get with me and get your portfolio positioned so that you are a part of this American economy.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Learn to say no. Your children need to learn that word. It has to be a part of our young people's mind. And I'm talking about these adult kids that are still living at home. I had a cousin on social media. She posted this thing that everybody was sharing about my kids. I want them to come in my house and take out my food and do this and that. And, you know, tell them about saying that you know, your kids need to always be your kids. I said, yeah, your children will always be your children, but they should not always be a dependent. I said, it's natural. Even a bird pushes its young out the nest. It's time for someone to go. When people start procreating and having their own children, they need to learn to be financially responsible, or we're robbing them. When we're taught spare the rod, spoil the child, you know, that's not about beating the kid up the side of the head. No, why we think that? It's about giving a child direction on the way that they should go. The rod was used for the herder to tell the sheep how to move. Give them direction. You know, that it's time to move forward. If we don't, we're hurting that next generation. We think we're helping them. Are you talking about having a hard way to go is when I have to tell someone, you need to learn to say no to those grandkids, no to those kids, no to my most successful, and research has shown this, but my most successful clients are the ones who know how to say no. And I know that it works because I remember graduating from college, the youngest child. And I asked my father, will you co-sign for me? Because I don't know what to do. I need a car. I didn't have a car. Nothing. Like, I don't know what to do. My dad said, I don't know what you're going to do. But no. And my dad was a president of a college. He had the money. He was like, I'm not paying for your school and I'm not paying for your car. And he didn't. No. You know, and he took care of it. And what? I have mad respect for him to the day he died. And now, it hurt then. But you would not know my name if he had raised me any different. There's no way. Because I would have just been another worker. I was somewhere just, I would not have been starting no business in my 20s. But by him saying that, it just made me think, I can do this. I can do that. Basically, I've been financially independent, as well as having an asset that pays for me, that feeds me since my 20s. That's amazing when you think about it. So learn to say no. And then at this point was that car payments can slow down our wealth development. Probably if we looked at anything in our community that has pulled away from our wealth the most, you know, other than like the challenge of being a single parent, because I know that you know, we have way too many single parent households, and it does pull away from your income. Raising a child by yourself, child support or not, and I can say this because I did it, it is too much. It devastated my income for decades, raising my child by myself. So now I can say decades, I guess, because she's not 20 yet, but it was a long time. And you can't, you know, you cannot work the way that you want to work and be a good parent. It just can't. You are making a sacrifice. So your income, your wealth, the building of your asset, for me, my business, you know, had to take second fiddle. Where I would not have to make that kind of choice if we have our families together. And I think it does help and we don't realize how much the single parents, you know, sacrifice financially. So what happens is, if she doesn't get the financial advisor support on how to make this happen, as I was saying when I was pushing our new member on telling her how it's important, because she's a single parent, on how I gotta get her income up, you know, that I have to encourage her to do that no matter how much it hurts me, because you know, it's so much easier to kind of just, as the world says, like, you know, leave people where they are, you know, well, then you haven't really done anything for them. You know, we should make a commitment that anybody that goes through your life, no matter how short or long the period is that they try to be a part of your life and decide to share their time with you, that all of that time, whatever that time is, that it should be positive, that you were building them, even if they don't appreciate it. It was 100% on build. It was never on bring down.
Right.
So car payments slow us down. Because we don't, in many cases, we don't just get cars. Like, you know what I'm saying? We get like nice cars. But then how did I get the car without my dad co-signing? Because I ended up, my friend from college, she was dating a guy who worked at a car dealership who happened to be like a finance manager. And then he actually said, well, do you have a job? And then I had a job. I had just got a job offer from a bank. And I only stayed at that bank for like 7 weeks, but I did have, I had it enough to get that loan. And then I got that, and he approved me based on having a job. So there are ways around it. There are ways around it. You get income, you can make a payment. But imagine if I didn't have to do that.
I think buying a new vehicle or used vehicle for that matter is the worst money spent ever.
And mine was used. But imagine if I didn't have to do that. Like, you know, if my family had just set aside something or gave me one of their old cars, anything, I would have accepted. That saves, because that was like $300 and something a month. I could have started saving right off the bat. So, you know, that's a blessing that a lot of our young people have, and they don't even see it. You got to make sure that they realize that. Like, you're giving them a car, then okay, I'm giving you this car, so your payment would be blah, 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 then da-da-da-da-da. Hey, you're living with me. If you were living anywhere else, it would be so-and-so and so. And so they should be putting money away into those work retirement plans by that amount of that car payment would be and what that their rent would be. No, they can do very well by participating and doing it correctly, and then put them in AfroEconomics, and I can help them set up the allocation for how to invest it at work. We can get it done. So, and then, also I said the solution to making life better and to making us feel better is not always spending more money. Because I see that a lot, and I'll just share that. I was telling y'all, like, this is some thoughts, and before we started, I was sharing that was a part of an epiphany that I received, because I have like basic stuff, some basic stuff. We're gonna look at it in a second, but that the solution is not always spending more. So we're talking about financial independence. But how many times do you wake up and you go, oh, I don't like that bathroom, or I don't like that my car, or I don't like my wife, or I don't like my husband, you know. So the solution is always for something that we don't like. Too often, I gotta buy something else. I gotta get something else. I gotta change this out. Can you feel me on that? Can y'all see this? Oh, I'm tired. I gotta go on a vacation. Oh, I need more excitement. I gotta get to a show. The solution is not always that. Sometimes the solution is that you just need to spend more time with yourself.
Sit still.
Still, as Reverend Bozeman would say, right?
That's right.
That's right. Be still and do more. That's right. But really, we need that type of time. You know, a lot of times that's what it is, but it's not always spending more. Because sometimes you can buy something and you buy it and you still don't feel any better. Right. Oh yeah, Rita said that's right. Rita was like about eating out. Isn't it true? Oh wow, I had to shake that one. Oh, I had to shake one. That's right. Latrice said.
And then, JB, after you just went to the grocery store and loaded up on tons of groceries, but yes, you're still going to eat out. Okay. Eat and
yes,
drink.
that's true, sis.
That's right. I don't feel like cooking. Isn't that sad?
That's true.
It's so true. Now, I mean, and from that perspective, I feel that with so many of you working from home now, many of you not, but most of you working from home, like that COVID should have been a situation for saving more money. Like
Absolutely.
The majority,
Absolutely.
Yeah, right? The majority of Americans saved more money. But that's not applicable to us. You know, we did not make up the majority of Americans. But I would argue and pray, and I need to do a survey on that hopefully the majority of people in AfroEconomics have saved more.
It saved me some money because I didn't splurge on trips.
That's so good.
On trips, and when it happened, we actually had booked to go to Hawaii. So I got the money back from the resort already, but the airline is still holding my money hostage, talking about I got a credit to 2022. So yeah,
That's sad.
it is.
I was, very happy. We had something in the water tickets, but Pharrell eventually sent it all back.
Good.
But
That's good.
But yeah, that because those are some steep tickets, especially that was the year that I was like, because I went the first year and I thought, oh, I'm gonna do the cheap tickets, not cheap, but whatever. And then the next one I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do VIP, and then COVID comes in. So but as God would have it, but we did get it all back eventually. But there are some what I was paying for that has nothing compared to what these tickets are going for now. So we need to be very careful on running out the gate and overpaying for these tickets. Really, because they think that everybody, is looking for something to do. Everybody is, bored and things like that. So you don't have to spend more money in order to feel better. Trust me, there is peace without spending more money. And then there's this, I deserve it. Like, and this is really addressing like things that stop us from becoming financially independent. Have you ever seen that I deserve it mentality? Like I was at a class reunion one time for college, and it wasn't a class reunion. It was like we have like an alumni weekend. So, but we're all there, and the brother said, I think it was like a Bentley or something. It was a very, very expensive car. And the brother said, look what he said, check this out or something. And then he said, yeah, he said, I deserve it. I said, man, you deserve more than that. You really, truly do. You deserve it, and you deserve so much more also. You know what I'm saying? I was like, and I know he probably still thinks about it today. Like, what was Baby Bryan really saying? But it's just like, that we truly, we deserve so much more than our money can buy. So we don't have to like limit ourselves in trying to buy like what we deserve, because you're not going to be, because in the next week there's going to be something, or the next day there's something else you deserve. You are not going to be able to buy yourself everything that you deserve, not in a sound mind. Or they just like, that's why you have so many movie stars, and they have like car and car and car and Jeep and Jeep and car and Rover and you know what I mean? They have all of this and Porsche, and they get to like 50 cars, and they're all just sitting there looking like this car lot, and of course you deserve it. Of course you deserve it. But then you look at Warren Buffett, who's richer than all of them, all white man, like with an Oldsmobile, with a Buick, I think he drives. He's just driving. That's peace. That's peace. But that's, but that's become his peace. But how good must you feel in your life? Like, how must you be brought up to have that type of freedom? Like, how much sometimes I look at things and I realize the level of oppression that has been given to us and put on us from the habits that we've developed in things to try to help us feel better. People say things like, yeah, I got my car and I drove it to work and my boss was looking at me and everything. Who cares? Who cares? Like,
nobody.
Know what I'm saying? But we care, and I don't know why. Like, what do you really think that it does to him, but now just puts him in a position to scrutinize you even more?
Somebody once said to me, when they get those fancy cars, the people that matter don't care, and those that care don't matter.
Not the truth. True. You know what? Is that true? Like, the owner, like the big owner up at the top floor, like, you know what I'm saying? He's looking down and he goes, wow, look at them.
Right, at the bank. So, right.
But I've often noticed, like, if you ever go up to a gym, like if you ever go into a gym again and get to see like the trainers drive up, you'll notice now, I'm just going to say like a sweeping generalization, but overall, with the best body and the trainers and everything, they have like the most humble cars. And the ones with the really nice cars, you know what I'm saying, are just crawling out of there. Like, you know what I mean? They go to the gym, like, you know, and they got their designer gym bag and, you know, all this stuff. And they're just going to the gym to be going to the gym because you can tell you don't look like you go to the gym. You're not looking in a healthy way. But it's like that is the way it is. You know, with a lot of our thinking that you deserve it. Like you also deserve to be healthy. And you also deserve to be at peace. And you also deserve, you deserve to have a Maserati. You deserve to have an airplane. You deserve, I mean, you really do. But if I had to choose for my true financial independence, which component, I would choose something priceless, and that would be to have my health, because I know that I can't buy it. If we knew how important our health is to our financial independence, we would jump up every day and go walking because we'd be like, I deserve this. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve it. I deserve to, when I retire, when I stop working, that I'm still in great shape. That's how I was telling Mr. Green, he's preparing for his retirement. And I was like, man, you look like you ready to go to high school. Really? That's the way it should be. Looking like Miss Bridget Davis. Ready to go to high school. That's right. But that's, you deserve that. We deserve that. So then let's look at some elements in our continuing our discussion on financial independence. It's important because it reduces our financial stress and removes the worries that we can have on whether or not we're going to be able to pay for our living, our standard of living, So our financial independence is very important for the peace for the remainder of our life. And we really shouldn't think about stopping working until we know, like, I'm coming in, I have enough income coming in that I can live comfortably for the rest of my life. That's what retirement is. That's what financial independence is. And if at 40, you have the income coming in that can provide for your needs, that off the assets that you have, then you're financially independent. So my first generic financial independence suggestion is that we get more income. Don't get lazy at the job. Learn more. I think that COVID has been a great opportunity to increase our skills, learn more things. I started taking PhD classes, and it has been one of the smartest things that I've ever taken because you never know what you don't know. With me having to study, every day, it has been really good for me. It keeps me busy, of course, adds some stress, of course, but like I told one of my professors, my health comes first. So if it's between me going to sleep and or doing this homework, I'm going to sleep. Look, and he also knows if it becomes like me being there for my family or this schoolwork, I'm going to be there for my family. Look, and then look at this how low it goes. And then if it's from me taking care of my business and my clients, you ain't coming first. Then I do my work. But so that means you just have to plan it out wisely. But I believe that there are a lot of people that have a lot more time than me that are not maxing out their day. So I want to be able to get to the end of this and be able to look at people and and say, I was a single parent in COVID, got married, have a husband. He encouraged me, finished my PhD, got my business. I want to be able to tell our community, completed it, that it is possible. Because we always focus on what we can't do. Get more skills. And then second is develop a plan and stick to it. Develop that plan and stick to it. Stick to it. So when we set up a financial plan and money guide, and we say, oh, this, you want to retire in such and such a day or such and such a year or such and such a decade, what? And what we got to do, this is what we got to do. That's what you got to do. That's what we got to do. And communicate. Communicate with your spouse. If you're single, you got to communicate with yourself that this is important. There's something, though, I must admit, that there is something about, and even though I've been married before, I never was this person and married. And there's something about being married that can make you feel more responsible. I think sometimes when you're single, I thank God for being a single parent because it encouraged me to be responsible. I think that if I had just always just been single, it does, you have to actually have so much more discipline than a single parent or a single, you'll see a single person and they will not accumulate as many assets or save as much as a person who has one child or two or three. We have members with 3, 4 kids that they raised by themselves and they got much money at retirement. And then you have, people single, no children, who decide late in the game that maybe it's time to start saving. Isn't that something? So everything to being single, that's right. That everything, like you have to just decide as a single person, whatever your status is, you have to decide I'm going to be, responsible for myself. I know you've seen that, Ms. Jones, with, single people like yourself who just are not thinking like you and Rita are about being responsible. But communicate openly with your spouse if you're married about these are the things that we're going to do. But because you know how devastating, we've done a session on this, it is to have to go through a divorce late in this game. It can mess up your financial independence big time. But it is recoverable, but it takes work. Also, for financial independence, make a commitment to cut the expenses. Cut your expenses as aggressively as you increase your income. Because then what? That allows you to invest even more. Invest even more. Make sure that you have a relationship and with a trusted financial advisor. Consider me. Consider getting the help of me and my investment advisory firm. That is what I do. That's what AfroEconomics is all about. Looking at every financial part of your life. I do believe that a person who has a good, trusted financial advisor, licensed and regulated, like myself, that if you get a licensed professional who is accountable, that you can be better off financially. I mean, because I talk to my clients about all of their financial decisions, on taxes, on every move that they're going to make. One of my key areas here for financial independence is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, a key tip here. That allows you to have a different source, an additional source of income if you have another job. But it's important right now to consider the value that you add to this world and think of yourself as an entrepreneur. you can be if you decide to be. A lot of times it's just about you taking yourself seriously. And so I work with that in addition to helping with your investment portfolios. But but it's a trusted advisor can help you make some good decisions. It's my responsibility to listen to what you want and give you feedback on how I can help you get there. Yes, indeed. So another key part of financial independence is to, make sure that you have insurance protection, asset protection, have the right protection for your assets. With every asset that you have, as well as protection for yourself, especially if you have family that's depending on you, your life insurance protection is very important. How much is enough? That's something we can calculate together. Do you need long-term care insurance? Is there a job change and something happens and you don't have health care insurance? We talk about that. I'm licensed in every type of insurance. So I want to analyze all of it. I want to look at your car insurance, your homeowner's insurance, your life insurance, your disability insurance, all the benefits that you have at work, everything. I want to review it from a licensed professional perspective first, just to help you give you insight on what you currently have. If there's holes in there, then I want to point them out. But it takes time and it takes us going through each of those things. But they're key parts of, they're key to your financial independence. And if you have the proper life insurance with the proper premium, because a lot of times we're paying way too much, but we don't have enough coverage. That's always disappointing. See, because the insurance company gets paid by the premium that you pay, not by how big your policy is. So you can have a $100,000 policy that you're paying $1,000 a month for. But that's highly unlikely, but I guess it is possible. So, but let's just use that as an example. So you're paying $1,000 for 100,000, or you could be paying $1,000 for $1 million coverage. One, you're winning, one, you're losing, but they're winning either way. Because it looks like, and on 100, they're winning even more. But that's just a crazy example of, I hope that that's not happening with someone, but I have seen, where I've run quotes for people and they will have a company that is quoting them 3 times the premium. And I'll show them how they could be saving, buying that same coverage for a fraction of it. And they'll look at me and say, what do you think I should do? It's real hard, y'all. So, I mean, and I go, well, this is an easy one. Like, I really think that you would be helping yourself by getting more coverage and spending less, especially since you have someone depending on you. If something happens to you, they need to have, especially if you have joint debt with someone. You buy this house together. The house needs to be able to be at least paid off if the other one of you passes away. Because if not, they're going to be left with that entire bill to themselves. But so you're disturbing their financial independence then, right? So financial independence has to be a personal commitment that you make. And it is extremely possible. And we can make it happen. But it is determined by what you want and your commitment in order to make it happen. But with most of the people that I've found that are financially independent, and many of you are, that it's because you've been willing to be uncomfortable. And during that period of being uncomfortable, you have to max it out. We have to do the right thing during that time where you're making those huge sacrifices. Gotta be doing the right thing with it. So you can be making a whole bunch of sacrifice, but if you're still just not doing the right things with it, and that happens. So your friends might get to the end and they go, well, Dag, I did what you did, and why do you have so much more and I don't? Well, you know what I mean? You can do
I had JB. I had
yes,
JB.
indeed. Exactly. Exactly. It's like, you know, you can do the same do, but you might not do it the same way, you know? Look, we can both be making a cake, but mine might taste good. Yours might be jacked up. You know, didn't put any yeast in it. I don't know. Whatever. didn't put any butter in it.
The funny thing about like I wasn't, as a child, I didn't have like financial advice or financial literacy coming up. So I had to teach myself. So I read books, and then I started investing with the companies I was working with. And then, you know, then on my own. But when I opened up that other account, again, I don't want to talk about that, but I'm so happy I met you.
That's a blessing.
I'm happy I met you, because not only do I trust you, I know you got my back.
That's such a blessing. Thank you. But that, you know, but that's a trusted financial advisor. And you know, and that's a blessing, because the only reason that I'm in this business is because I was out there working hard, you know, and doing advertising, loving my life in radio, and this idiot kept, you know, trying to rob me, you know, when I was trying to purchase some stuff, you know, and I'm like, I'm only trying to invest, you know, and I'm and I said, well, when I finish graduate school, I don't know, I'm gonna do something different. And then that's what happened. And then I went and started at the investment firm.
JB,
Yes.
I think with financial stability, I think, you know, a lot of us, we had that. Our parents didn't have much, and a lot of our parents did save the little bit that they had, because we knew that it was better to own than to rent. And that's why people, when they sharecrop, they wanted to own the land.
That's
They
right.
didn't just want to just keep, you know, paying, you know, the man. They wanted to own it. So we always knew that it was better to own than to rent. And then we did save. A lot of people did save. I said my mother didn't have nothing but a high school diploma, but she wasn't savvy into finances, but she knew that you had to have something tomorrow. So that means you had to save, you had to budget your money so you can have something for tomorrow. So we act like we got to save, we got to study all this stuff and have all these, you know, no disrespect to anyone, that we have to have all these degrees and stuff like that in finance. Just do the simple stuff. Just save your money, half of it or whatever.
That's
save
right.
$1.
That's right. And then a lot of times, I'm glad that you brought that up, is that financial independence for us is not what financial independence used to be. Like, because a person actually could do better by not buying a house today and investing their money. If we looked at historical performance, if they invested that, you know, saying like, if they were able to save their money, if they, like, they were able to be more affordable to rent the place. So there would have been $2,000 for the mortgage, or they did $1,000 and they rented. So they said, no, I want to rent. And they took the other $1,000 and they invested it. And they didn't have to do any maintenance, and they didn't have to do any repairs, and they didn't have to do any property taxes. And they invested all of that as well. Research will show that if you use the S&P 500 as an example, that investor with the renting would have come out ahead. But nobody explains that to us. So we have, and unfortunately, we live in a society that as Black people, we tend to live by Black people. So they decline the property value of our residential real estate. So there are people who have invested in residential real estate for, you know, 30, 40 years in some areas that I know about, and their house is worth less today than it was when they got it. So, and then their heirs are like trying to figure out how to get rid of their houses and things like that. So even though, and then some of them still with mortgages. Like, we have a lot of people in our community in their 80s still with mortgage debt. So it really depends. Like, and so what I say is that financial independence doesn't have to look the same way we've been socialized to think that that's how it looks. But because it's different. Like back in the day when they said they owned something, they literally owned it. A lot of times now when we say that we own something, it's just financing.
Right.
And that's hard. You know what I mean? That's hard. Like you're still, just basically paying more than rent. And then with our foreclosure rates being too high, it's even worse when they take your house and all that you put into it. So it all comes down to like getting a better understanding of my financial options. And like in many situations, we have Black single women who have $5,000 mortgage, say, by themselves, living in a house. Imagine if they just did $2,000 for rent and invested $3,000 away. But if you told them that, in most cases, they'd be like, JB, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. But if I illustrated it for them, how much they're overpaying because their housing expense is so high, how it has pulled away from their actual opportunity at possible greater wealth. Or even if they just got a mortgage for the 2,000, and then invested the difference. But when you're overpriced, we're in many cases buying too much house, so it slows down your wealth. If you look at the research, the average white wealthy person, their house is only a small percentage of where their net worth comes from. We're depending too much. Like our house for a Black wealthy person, their house often is their biggest asset. So that means they've had this huge asset that's been growing at, the average rates that don't exceed the market over the long term. Am I making sense?
Yes.
We're putting more in that where they put a little, so we might be paying 5 and they might be paying 5, but $5,000 may represent 20% of their household income, where it's, that woman's house by herself might be representing 50% of her income.
That's ridiculous.
Easily though. But so we can't, we don't have to do things the way they've always been done, but we, definitely have to start doing some things different. Major Jones says that's ridiculous. It is, but it happens. And then we've been socialized to feel like, yeah, my house is huge, my big house, but if your house could be what's slowing you down from being the multimillionaire that you could be. Yeah.
What comes in mind is our way of thinking to be reprogrammed. I think it would be just suitable just to live in a nice safe, nice neighborhood. It doesn't have to be the most expensive dwelling in a neighborhood.
Amen. Yeah, and it just takes a whole reprogramming, like you said.
And you find a lot of people, once they purchase a home, they hastily go out and decorate, buy furniture, and it's ridiculous.
Get credit cards and the 1 year. What is it? 1 year no interest, or what is it? Yeah, I think it's 1 year no interest. The furniture company's like, I know you gonna go over. Just go on, because it's probably, I would love to ask them, like, what percentage of people actually do it in the 1 year, because if you miss one over, and I know the majority of you do, but they're not dependent on the majority, but we go out there and you get it, anything can go wrong. And in reality, more things go wrong for people within a year's time. Miss that one payment, do something. It's on.
And the furniture that's being sold, doesn't hold up. It doesn't even
So
last
true.
long enough for you to pay for it.
So true. Overpriced, isn't it? So
It's
true.
overpriced.
It's so true. So true. All those types of things. You know, many of the cars, much of the furniture, you know, then the curtains and all of the stuff like that have become like like extremely necessary. You know, the things that just sit there in the corner, you know. It's not even, you know what I'm saying? It's not even practical. Like my daughter said, Mom, why don't we have any things that just like sit in the corner over there, like stuff? You know, I don't know. She's comparing our house to somebody's. I don't know, but you can always buy something that sits in that corner.
The
You know?
question is it necessary?
No, it's not
When you're
necessary.
buying things, is it necessary?
Isn't it true? But that is you know, you are unique because the majority of people just do things based on what they look like, not necessity. And and what I'm saying is, and you're saying is that life over the long term is going to be better. You know what I mean? If we just do what is really necessary and get comfortable with that. That, you know, I know that might look cute, but I'm gonna do what's necessary right now, and I'm going to maximize my savings.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't make those type of sacrifices. There's no way I would, you know, could make it through like no PP, no this loan, no that loan. You know, the government would own me because if you got, you know, if you got to have everything, and you got to always look a certain way. That, you know, no, there's no way you can make it through that. And then so they're betting, you know, on, you know, the companies, and the government itself makes a lot of money on interest. That's what they're betting on, you living above, beyond your needs, beyond the necessity. And all these finance companies, America is built on finance companies. In many ways, it's the new form of slavery. Working people paying interest rates.
Wow.
Well, Ms. Bryant, I understand that some of the major banks are now extending credit to individuals that don't have any credit.
Yep. Isn't that interesting?
That's
Yeah.
to lure them in and get them in debt.
Mhm.
That's right.
Amen.
That's gonna be the new student loan thing.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yes, it's better than that because they can get some good interest rates. They do things, you know, have no educational connection. They just like, oh, don't you need so and so? You know, put it on a credit card and
Put it on the credit
yeah.
card with a 0% interest rate. And
Mhm.
after a certain period of time, then uh,
Yep.
give them, then they are awarded a much higher interest rate.
Yep.
That's what those major banks are
Because
doing
all
now.
these young people, they want to go on these trips. They want to go to Florida. They want to go to Jamaica. They want to go, you know, they want to do things that they can't afford to do. You know, so they're going to go after those young people aggressively. Remember her when her daughter graduated. They had a loan specifically for graduates. You know, all she had to do was show her like her school ID or something. She didn't even have to show her diploma because she hadn't finished yet. She was still had a course to finish over summer. And they gave her that car. I was like, oh my gosh. She was like, yeah, we went in there. And they were like, you know, I was like, that's so sad. And that was pre-COVID. So you know now.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Now it's going to be, you know, focusing on the used cars, and the interest rate's going to be really high. Because the demand is up. Because everybody got something to go, somewhere to go. But financial, you know, independence, you really have to decide what you want it to look like, and more importantly, what you want it to feel like to you. You know, it's financial independence my ability to pay my loans? No, is that what you wanted to feel like? Or financial independence, is it going to be, my assets provide me with income, and I don't have to worry about working. Even if I work, it's because just to, for something extra to do for society, but we definitely need to make conscious decisions about what financial independence is for us, and for your whole life. It's not just for working folks.
Right. And when I was a major thing that I did was pay myself first with every check that I got.
It's good.
Every check that I got, I made sure I paid myself first and then paid my bills.
There you go. There you go. Don't take it right out.
That's right. And don't touch it. That's right. That's the key. Don't touch it.
And don't take it. That's right. And don't touch it. And don't do a loan on it. And don't do, but yeah, because there's so many funny things. Like now, work plans will allow you to make loans on your money. And then they make interest on you borrowing your own money. It's everything is in financing now. And you don't see, the money they can make, it seems when they're doing it like they're doing you a favor, but no, you're doing them a favor to allow them to charge you for access to your own money.
That's right.
Woo!
Take a look and calculate how much it's going to cost you by the time it takes you to pay it off, and you'll see the difference. There's a big major difference. You're spending twice as much than if you saved up for it and bought it outright.
On everything that we find.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so true. And I was talking to one of our members yesterday about, now with these lenders, like telling people what they have to pay off in order to get approved for the refinancing of their house. So if they say, well, the car loan was not there, then you could get approved. So then you pay off the car. But what you do, if you take a long-term loan and you pay off a consumer debt, you're basically, are financing a car that'll be worth nothing, over a 30-year period. But we're not really, told to think about that. But like you're saying, Ms. Walton, if you take that car loan and you put it in over a 30-year period, you're like, oh my God. You see how much?
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money. That's right.
How much you paid for that car? And the car is gone by that time. You've been gone.
It's too old.
Yeah. In reality, and who would think about it? But in reality, they said if you ever sell that car, because you're always going to lose money on a car. But if you sell the car, you should take the money you make on that car and put it into the mortgage. That's the least you can do for yourself. But they'd be like, JB, you crazy, whatever, let's go. But when you get that funny about your money, you're winning. When you get that funny about your money, then you're winning.
That's right.
That's profound words.
And it rhymes. I like
that. You get that funny about your money. You know what I'm saying? That's some Jesse Jackson right there. The wise words. Y'all crazy as I am. Well, I love y'all. Have a wonderful week. I'll look forward to seeing y'all Friday morning for our members only. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So what's the
Everybody have a
topic?
good night.
What's the topic, Miss Bryan?
On Wednesday morning.